Another bloody act has been written in the macabre internet theatre of Islamic State terrorists. Freelance journalist Steven Sotloff was reporting on the Syrian civil war when he disappeared in August last year. He emerged a fortnight ago in a chilling video, kneeling at the feet of a hooded thug who just beheaded fellow American James Foley. The warning was clear. Steven Sotloff would die if the United States didn't call a halt to airstrikes. Last week, his mother, Shirley Sotloff, begged for her son's life.
I ask you to please release my child. As a mother, I ask your justice to be merciful and not punish my son for matters he has no control over. I ask you to use your authority to spare his life and to follow the example set by the Prophet Muhammad, who protected people of the book. I want what every mother wants, to live to see her children's children. I plead with you to grant me this.
Her pleas went unheeded. Another video was posted overnight. In it, Steven Sotloff is butchered.
This just demonstrates that we are dealing with pure evil. This is a hideous movement that not only does evil, it revels in evil, it exalts in evil, and it abundantly justifies what Australia and other countries are doing to assist people who are threatened by this murderous rage, to protect people who are at risk from this murderous rage.
Prime Minister Tony Abbott has authorised Australian planes to carry weapons to the Kurds fighting the Islamic State terrorists in northern Iraq. But it's just one battle in the Middle East, a region that is aflame from end to end. From bomb attacks in Egypt to the civil war in Syria, the body count rises by the day. And while the war has ended in Gaza, there is an uneasy and fragile peace. Hilik is Secretary-General of Israel's Labor Party and Deputy Speaker of the Knesset. He joined me from Canberra. Hilik, welcome to 7:30.
Thank you so much.
The last Iraq war saw Iran emerge as the dominant power in the region and a proliferation of terrorist groups. How could we possibly know what will happen after another intervention by the United States and its allies?
We cannot know, but we don't have a chance. We don't have another choice to make, actually. I think that Israel, who stand at the front of fighting terror, have to have a coalition together with Australia, together with the United States and Europe, understanding that there is extreme fundamentalistic Islamic jihad elements that want to live here, not next to us, to you and us, but instead of us. And I think we have to make a joint effort against terror, and we don't have any other choice.
Is it helpful that Israel's Prime Minister says that Hamas and ISIS are branches of the same poison tree when one day you're going to have to negotiate with Hamas?
No, I think that the Prime Minister of Israel is right. By the way, I'm from the Israeli opposition. It's not natural and obvious for us to support the Prime Minister or to say that he's right. But Hamas is acting the same as ISIS is doing in other countries. You see the executions of people in the middle of Gaza. You see the unacceptable behavior, the shooting missiles on civilians on Israel. They are belonging to the same family. Again, the family that want to live here instead of us, instead of Israel, instead of Australians. They don't respect and not acknowledge any other way of life but their own. And I think that it's sometimes hard to see that they are cut from the same tree, but it's actually, unfortunately, the truth. By the way, as for speaking with Hamas, we will happily speak with Hamas if Hamas will do what Fatah did 20 years ago. And this is to understand that we can live here next to each other, to understand that you cannot eliminate Israel and you cannot make us go away from here. I remind you that Fatah was a terror group many years ago, and they made the shift that Hamas will have to do if we want Israel and other parts of the world to speak with Hamas.
But can you live next to each other? We've just seen the war in Gaza, and has that done real damage to Israel's international standing?
Yeah, but not all the Palestinians are Hamas. I remind you that President Abbas and other factions in the Palestinian politic recognize Israel, trying to negotiate with us. I also remind you that Israel made peace with much larger enemies than the Palestinians before, with Egypt and with Jordan, and we proved ourselves that we can live peacefully in our region.
Is the collective punishment, though, of people in Gaza self-defeating for Israel?
It's not a collective punishment. I know the IDF. I'm a captain in the Israeli IDF. The IDF is defending Israel. Its aim is not to hurt innocent civilians. Actually, this is the aim of Hamas, who is shooting thousands of missiles on innocent Israeli civilians. But there is casualties of war, and we all very, very sad for it. But when you have a terror organization that shoot missiles from school, from UN facilities, from UNRWA facilities, from mosque, they have no other mean but to try and hurt their own citizens in order for the world to see that Israel is hurting innocent civilians. But Israel is committed to defend our citizens and allow them to have a blue sky free of rockets like you have here in Australia.
On Sunday, Israel laid claim to nearly 400 hectares of West Bank land. How will building more settlements bring about peace?
I agree with you. It's a very poor decision. I think that the future of this territory should be decided upon a two-state solution between us and the Palestinians. We in the Labour Party and the opposition to Netanyahu are against any unilateral annexation. I think it's bad for Israel. It's bad for building trust between us and the Palestinians. And we in the Israeli Labour Party will object this annexation of 400 hectares if it will come to the Knesset, and we'll try to fight this poor decision in every win we will have.
Should Israel embrace the Arab Peace Initiative and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas as a partner for peace?
Definitely, yes. As for the Arab Peace Initiative, I think one of the poorest and the wrong mistake that Israel ever did diplomatically is to not reply to the Arab Peace Initiative. We can say yes, we can say no, and we can say yes, but we won't change this and that. But not replying for 12 years to the Arab Peace Initiative is not something that we can and should allow ourselves. By the way, if I was Prime Minister, I wouldn't say a total yes to the Arab Peace Initiative. It's have a lot of problems as for Israel, but when 57 countries, Muslim countries, and 22 Arab countries coming to Israel and make an offer, Israel should reply. As for President Mahmoud Abbas, he's not the perfect partner, but you will never find a perfect partner when you are talking about an enemy, and Israel is now making the perfect the enemy of the good. Abbas is a good partner. He's a fair partner, more than Yasser Arafat it was before him, and definitely I can bet more than the future leadership that the Palestinians are planning for Israel, and this is why we should strengthen Abbas on the expense of the Hamas, see him as our partner, and go to a long way of negotiation with him as soon as possible.
Are there extremists on both sides of the Israel-Palestinian divide that don't want to see peace?
Yeah, absolutely. There is an extreme right wing in Israel that I cannot say that he don't want to see peace, but he's not willing to pay the necessary price and to make the necessary concessions in order to have future Palestinian states, which mean that he don't really promote peace. There is a lot of extremists in the Palestinian side, not only Hamas, but also other. But I can promise you that the majority of Israelis and the majority of the Palestinians are totally for two-state solution and understand that the two-state solution is the only viable and acceptable solution between us and the Palestinian. No other solution, definitely not the one-state solution, will happen or we will allow it.
Hilik Bar, thank you.
Thank you so much.